There are many new concepts I love to learn, but diving straight into their research paper often leave me overwhelmed with the more questions than answers. This got me thinking, what if we use AI to quickly identify most the necessary prerequisites, each complete with its own structured, helpful study guide? This way, we not only save time spent searching online, but we also make learning complex topics less scary. With this idea in mind, I did some research and wrote some code. Today, I will share what I've learned with you, so you can also create your own AI-generated study guide on the topics you want to learn about. Even though the main goal is to get a study guide for a main topic and its prerequisite, it's super important to have a good place to manage all of that. I use Obsidian because it is a great learning environment. It let me update my notes manually or even with script. Plus, there are plugins that allow me to annotate PDFs and browse websites right inside the app, which is super helpful for how we learn nowadays. The key behind study guide generation lies in the deep research feature offered by today's top AI tools. When you are chatting with a model like ChatGPT, Grok, Gemini, or other advanced chatbot, you can enable the deep research mode. This gives you more comprehensive result compared to a typical chatbot search feature. With that in mind, the study guide generation workflow boils down to two main steps. Step 1. We use the deep research feature to generate a research result, and we want the result in the JSON style format. Step 2. We run a script using a shell command plugin, which takes that JSON and turns it into organized study guide notes inside Obsidian. So the quality of the study guide you get really depends on the deep research provider you are using. To test this out, I ran the same set of prompts through 5 different providers. In terms of quality, OpenAI's deep research gave me the most relevant sources, while Gemini covered the most relevant topics. Each has its strength. One funny thing I discovered: not all deep research tools can return results in JSON format without extra steps. Out of the 5 I tested, only OpenAI and Janus deep research tool can directly output their research result in structured JSON. The others, like Gemini, typically return in plain text, so you will need add an extra step to prompt the model to convert that result into JSON. And that is how my study guide generation workflow works in a high level. Next, I will demonstrate you how to use this workflow in action. After that, I will walk you through how to set everything up from scratch in the brand new Obsidian Vault. As a real example, I'm learning JanusFlow with my Obsidian setup. As you can see here, there are 3 main sections. One section for reading paper and annotating it, another section for taking notes, and third sections for searching online and using AI tools. While I'm reading the paper, I realized JanusFlow is a pretty complex topic for me. It has a lot of components, and the paper only explaining them in a high-level way, which is not enough. So I would love the AI to generate a study guide for me to break down the components and give me more context to learn. First, I will go to my research prompt node where I contain the written prompt for AI to generate a study guide that tailor my requirement. I just need to enter the name here, which is JanusFlow here, and then copy paste everything to Gemini Deep Research. The Gemini Deep Research will ask us if we want to modify the plan. I think the research plan is good here, so I will just start research, and usually we'll wait for 2 to 3 minutes to generate the entire research result. When Gemini Deep Research done with this research report, you want export everything to Google Doc. And this process will take around like 10 seconds, and the Google Doc will pop up. When you have the Google Doc, you can first create a new file in Obsidian, copy the name, and then copy paste all the content to this markdown file. When you have the research result, you should first check if it is something you are looking for. If so, you can start to think about, do you want to create a dedicated study notes for each of this concept? In this case, I want to generate dedicated study notes. I'll first copy paste everything and go to Gemini, find the smartest model. And then I will go to research prompt to find the prompt that guide the AI to return the result in the JSON format. Copy paste. By doing this, I guide AI to convert the entire result into JSON format, and I can have like a Python code to convert the JSON into Obsidian files. When the AI finish the JSON object, you should first check if it contains everything. And in my case, it contains everything. So I'll copy paste everything, create a new file, and paste it. So currently, my Obsidian vaults don't have any folder that is dedicated to JanusFlow. But I have Python script that will transform JSON to a folder of Obsidian files. And I can execute that Python file through the shell command by selecting this one, JSON to Obsidian. And then boom. Now I have a folder that contains everything that is relevant to JanusFlow. And you can see that each of the nodes has its own structure. And there's an index page that contains everything, and a to-do list. And you also have your main concept file that contains all the prerequisites, an explanation, learning resources. With the structured study guide, I will first check if I understand all the prerequisites. And in this case, I'm not super familiar from the variational encoder, so I will start my learning here. And then I understand all the prerequisites, so I'll start learning by checking one of the learning resources, which is a YouTube video here. And then while watching the video, I will take notes here. All right, now let's talk about how to set up everything in a brand new Obsidian Vault. First, I recommend you go to my Obsidian Study Guide Generator GitHub and download the code here. Before we go back to Obsidian Vaults, you can also copy the name here, the PyScript, and then go back to Obsidian Vaults. First, create a new folder, make it name as PyScript. And when you are done with extracting your files, you can first open up the folder in System Explorer. And then this should be the file extracted from your from the repository. And then we're gonna rename it. Just need to delete the main here. And then we can drag everything into the PyScript. So first thing we want to do is go to the community plugin, turn on the community plugins, and search for shell command. We want to install that. Enable it. And then we're gonna go to our scripts, turn on the readme, copy this command. This is how we're gonna transform the JSON into Obsidian file. So go to shell commands, a new command, paste that, and go to the JanusFlow JSON. So this is in JSON style, but it's in markdown file. So we're gonna press Ctrl and P, search for shell command. We're gonna first check if the code is working. Okay, it doesn't work. Okay, I see why. Do that again. Okay. Yeah, the problem is you have to like drag it out to the root directory. And then yeah, everything is working. Yeah, things are working right now. And click in. the prerequisites and the learning resources. Okay, so the code is working. That is huge. And then the next thing is we're gonna install a few more plugins. As you can see right now, the data view is not working. And you also couldn't browse the video inside Obsidian. So if you really want to do everything inside Obsidian, go to the plugin again. First, you're gonna find surfing, and then you're gonna enable it. Find the data view and enable it, and PDF plus. Yeah, and then you're also gonna enable it. So right now, when you go to online, yeah, you can just watch the YouTube video directly inside your Obsidian Vault, and you have the data view here. And of course, you can also install PDF from the web browser. And yeah, this is the PDF. And if you want to annotating it, track here, go to your notes, turn this on. You can start your annotation. And you can also annotate image with a selection box. Yeah, that's everything. Some final words. So if you're looking for the prompt I used in the demo, you can go to the PyScript, go to the README, and there's a prompt section that contains every prompt I used inside the demonstration. Finally, I will continue my learning process on the Janus and its relevant deep learning topics. I'm planning to film a series of videos on explaining the mechanism behind unified model like Janus. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.